6 days ago, I got let go of from my job in tech, and now I'm recording this vlog. So, who am I and why am I recording a vlog? So, I'm a guy in my mid-20s. I've I came from a pretty decent university. I did well at school, and I've been working in tech for the past 4 years. Worked through the pandemic in a startup, and I 6 months ago joined this rather large tech company. Is pretty fast growing at the time, like all the big tech companies were, and I thought that this would be my place where I could work forever and really build a career for me. But alas, 6 months after joining, I was let go. So why am I telling you this? Well, it's not to air any dirty laundry. I don't really have any bad feelings towards my previous employer. They were fully within their rights to terminate their agreement with me, and they did it in a dignified manner, and I don't feel shortchanged by them. And it's also not to court sympathy. I'm a guy in my mid-20s, as I've said. I don't really have kids or any debt, any financial responsibilities like that. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to live at home with my parents, so I don't really have any rent. So I'm by far one of the least affected people by a layoff. I'm not a single mother of two who has debts to pay and child care to give. I'm not in any position where I could be struggling for the next few years. So please don't view this as me trying to court sympathy from the internet. I'm also, but what is important and why I'm doing this, there are three main reasons. The first is I find talking to people, like emoting, really difficult. I find expressing myself really difficult. I think it's not really something I'm actively trying to suppress, but I think there's a part of my brain that just switches off when I talk to people. And so I'm hoping by filming myself that I'll be able to really kind of express and feel what happened to me and really process it in as healthy a way as possible. The second reason is that I want to hold myself accountable. In future videos, I'll be posting my thoughts, my plans, and how I did in my plans in executing them. And I'm hoping by having this prospect of a vlog, I can really hold myself to account and make sure that I'm following those plans and making sure I don't fall behind on them. And lastly, the reason why I'm really putting it out there on the internet is I hope, if there's anyone still watching right now, I hope that if you are in a similar position to me, or if you're going through worries at work or in life in general, you could hopefully take something away from what I'll be recording and what I'll be talking about, and hopefully it'll make you feel better. And lastly, of course, if cheeky sponsorship, so if Squarespace or Audible want to hit me up, sure, I won't say no. So now, how did I feel like when it happened? Which I guess is why most of you, if any of you are watching, I say most as if there'll be more than one person watching, but if people are watching, why you'd be interested. So I'll tell you kind of like the immediate feelings that I had, and then I'll tell you how I felt later. Like later on, it's been a week now. So in the immediate feelings, first the bad feelings, then the good feelings. The bad feelings, it was pretty much, it was a shocker. Like, I was shocked when I got on the call and, saw the HR person as well being there. Of course, I had like, not so great feedback at work, but I also had great feedback at work, and I felt like it's normal to not do so well at your job, or sorry, kind of falter from time to time at your job and have points to learn from. I thought that was completely acceptable. And, you know, from talking to members of my team and to my manager, I I kind of thought that was fine. It was a point of learning. So I wasn't really expecting to be laid off or expecting to even be in a, you know, low performer bucket so that I'd be laid off. And yeah, it also felt like a complete punch to the gut, like a physical punch to the gut. I don't really know why my body did that or why bodies do that, but I felt literally here, like, I don't know if you can see it, but like here, like as if someone had been punching it. And that felt really bad. And I remember kind of trying to walk and my feet felt like concrete. I couldn't move and it was horrible. And I felt immediately kind of the weight of the expectations. This happened in early April 2023 and things aren't doing so great in tech. And I felt that immediately. I knew, how am I supposed to get a job now? I still think that I don't know how I'm really going to get a job. I'm going to have to figure that out. Like, and so that really hit. But I'd say the good feelings. I felt, it's strange, but I felt kind of an immediate compassion to my manager. Like, I could sense he didn't want to give me the news. I got a feeling that if it was his decision, it was a forced decision, slash, maybe it wasn't his decision. Or maybe it was, but he had to do something to kind of protect the team. And so I felt immediate compassion. I said to him, it must have been hard for you to say that to me. And I kind of thanked him. I don't really remember. I hope I thanked him for the opportunity. But I definitely thanked him for kind of the way he said it. And I like to think he felt gratitude. And yeah, another kind of good feeling. I'd kind of been worried, kind of anxious about being let go. I'd seen a lot of people around me who I knew who were pretty good at their jobs being let go. And so I had a lot of anxiety built up. You know, maybe that's a giveaway. If you have anxiety, yeah, maybe you are on the chopping block. But that anxiety kind of wafted through me. It was a sense of relief when I walked out the building that I didn't need to feel this worry anymore. So that was good. And so yeah, like, I left the building still feeling a bit woozy, still feeling a bit sick, still feeling like my legs were concrete, but I didn't really have any worries anymore about kind of being let go. Like, it had been done. And so kind of immediately afterwards, from where I work, like, I work in central London, or I worked in central London. So, where am I going with this? So, yeah, my immediate thought was I didn't want to be alone. So so my dad works kind of close to where I used to work, and I was hoping he was in. Unfortunately, he wasn't in that day. He was working from home, but to his credit, he came immediately and met me at the nearest train station, because I knew I didn't want to be alone. And like, I don't know, like, I didn't, trains to me, you know, it's going to be hard to say, but like, you know, the thought, like, I wasn't feeling suicidal, but I thought maybe in a moment I would feel an impulse. I didn't want that impulse to come about. Even walking down to the tube to get to the train station, I stood as far away from the tube rail line as possible because I didn't even want the thought to cross my mind. I don't really know why I thought that. I felt like I don't really have any suicidal tendencies, but, maybe I was just being silly. I don't know, but I didn't want to fuck around with trains at that point. And I didn't want to be alone. And so he came and picked me up from the train station. And I know he's typical, Asian dad. He wasn't he wasn't like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or "Oh, I feel so bad." He was just there. But it was and he basically was just like, "Here, drink." But like, he dropped everything he could to come to me in the middle of the working day. And so that meant a lot to me. And then, other members of my family came. One thing I forgot to mention was on the way to the tube station, one of my closest friends called me. I messaged him. And it was just nice to have him on the phone, just talking. I couldn't really hear him. I was walking down one of the busiest streets in London, but it was nice to have him on the phone. And yeah, that just really taught me having people around who will just show up and be there for you. They don't even necessarily have to say anything, just being there is amazing. And if you don't have that, in the city you live, or if you just don't have that in your life, just make that a priority. Because when shit hits the fan, you want people there to be around you and to support you. And now, how do I feel now? It's been almost a week. I sometimes get flashbacks to that moment. I sometimes have trouble sleeping. Yeah, it's not a really nice thought to have come across my mind, but it seems what my brain likes to focus on from time to time. And it just so happens to be the time when I want to fall asleep. And I still feel that sense of despair, like I don't really know what I'm going to do with my life right now. Like to think I'll be able to figure it out, and I'm giving myself some space too. But yeah, it feels like the deck is stacked against me right now. And like, this was my career. I thought this is where I could be set and work, and build a career for a few years, if not for a longer time than that. And so having that being really quickly taken away from me is just, it hurts. But on the plus side, I have savings. I could literally do whatever I want for the next few months. I could travel the world. I could also look into pursuing some of my own interests. I could, read books that I'd always wanted to read, pick up, new hobbies I wanted to pick up, vlog, I love watching YouTube. Why not try vlogging? YouTube definitely soothes me when I watch it, and I hope this, I was going to say I hope this soothes you, but that sounds pretty creepy. So I hope this is nice. And yeah, I'm just going to explore my interests. But it's important for me to have a plan. So in the next couple of days, I'm going to build a plan, and I'm going to share this plan with you. And then I'm going to work on it, because this isn't the end. I know this isn't the end. It might feel like I'm in a lot of shit right now, and if you're still watching, it might feel like you're in a lot of shit, but this is just the start. We've got so many options out there. The world is our oyster. We've just got to figure out what we want to do and go from there. And I know there are a lot of troubles in the way, and there are a lot of things that will keep you down, but just fight through it. Be resilient. Lean on people who you care about and who care about you, and you'll be fine. And so, yeah, next steps, as I mentioned, build a plan. I'm maybe going to talk about what my thoughts are about my options in a future video. But yeah, that, and also just, I'm going to be kind to myself. You know, I'm not going to ride myself too hard right now. I'm not going to feel, you know, like I'm less than because I got laid off. I'm not going to feel like, you know, I'm not going to think that my former colleagues are now thinking that, yeah, they're thinking, hey, he was probably not that great, and so trying to reassure themselves, because I did when people around me got laid off. I tried to reassure myself thinking, those people weren't that great, and I'll be fine. And I don't want people to think that I wasn't that great, but you know what? I'm not going to let that affect me. I'm going to try and block that out of my mind as much as possible. Be kind to myself, build a plan, and go from there. It's been 16 minutes. I mean, I might edit this down, so if it's less than 16 minutes, you'll know I've edited this down. And so I think it's now time for me to get on with my day, and for you to get on with your day, or to watch more YouTube. Watching more YouTube sounds fun right now. So I'll just leave you with this. There's someone very close to me sent me this movie quote. And I don't often quote movies. I'm not really a movie geek, perhaps despite obvious appearances. But he gave me a quote from one of my favourite films. It was Batman. And it's between Wayne Bruce Batman and Alfred. And it goes something like this. Master Wayne, why do we fall down? Why, Alfred? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up. Thank you.